And now, we've come to the portion of our show where we have to ask, what just happened? We can't believe it either, but let's take a look back at the insanity that was this week and look ahead to what will make us facepalm next week. This is What Just Happened on the Dean Obeidallah Show. Take it away, Dean.
Oh, how exciting! It's Friday, October 12th, my friends. It is What Just Happened, our weekly segment, which is the show within a show where we try to have some fun, but for some reason, Trump ruins it every week. But not this week. We're going to have some fun. I got two great guests. Tina Dupuy is back. You know, her former Capitol Hill staffer, former White House.
Wow, you're making me into so much.
She's written for various
much
publications.
Better guest than I actually am.
The Atlantic, Vox, LA Times. You hear her frequently here. She fills in for me here sometimes, which is very kind.
Next week, Wednesday.
Next week, Wednesday, she'll be here,
and
folks.
Whenever you get a cold, Dean.
Never
I'm here
happens.
for you, bro.
And sitting right next to her for the first time on the show, comedian Dustin Chafin. You've seen him on Showtime's White Boys in the Hood or HBO's Crashing. He's got a new CD out.
Podcast.
Podcast. Oh, what's the name of the podcast?
I'll leave you with this.
I'll leave you with this.
Yes.
I thought it was a CD.
No, that's stop telling people that.
All right, very good. So,
That's why. It's seriously what it's called. That's why you stop telling.
What do you do with the CD these days? I don't have anything
Does
in my
anyone do
apartment.
It's
that
an
plays a
album.
CD.
I have it vinyl.
Okay, fine,
you know,
fine.
I'm going retro.
Okay.
Yeah. And
So-
download cards. Yeah.
all right, and here's your water, the official water guy.
Thank
and by
you.
the way, we're doing this live on Facebook. It's on Facebook.com/Dean of Radio. So if you want to see what
fun.
Tina and Dustin wears a cowboy hat, folks.
Right.
And there's a story behind
And
it.
Tina has lipstick on, so
Yes, she
that's
does.
almost
this
the
is
equivalent.
both,
Kicking it.
This is a big day and it's on Twitter too, at Dean Obeidallah, because we figured out how to simultaneously stream both at the same time this week. We just learned how.
Wow. I got to ask
This
you
is,
how to do
and
that.
it's on
later.
YouTube.
Really?
Boom.
Wow. Everything.
It's just crazy. And so, all
Do
right,
I
let's
look pale to you? I'm kidding.
stop, Tina.
Great.
Let's talk about, and it's on now right now, Kanye West. And before I play any clips, let me ask, what do you guys think the why behind Trump meeting with Kanye West? What do you think the real why was?
Gross spectacle. Everything about this administration is gross spectacle.
Elvis Nixon. Same
Yep,
thing.
you got it. Very good
Elvis
parallel.
Nixon, very
good
nice.
parallel, which gave us absolutely horrific public policy. That's where the war on drugs started, when Nixon went into the Oval Office, or excuse me, Elvis went into the Oval Office to meet Nixon. Sweaty, bloated, and full of Krispy Kremes.
Is that his
goes
fourth
in there.
album?
Yeah, goes in there. Yeah, I think that was his final album. Goes in there and wants to tell Nixon that like the kids like him, which of course at the time is not true, because like, you know, teenagers didn't know who Elvis was in 1971, but the 30-year-old White House staffers sure did, and so that was really exciting. But he wanted to tell Nixon that the Beatles were not patriotic because they were foreigners, and they also thought that they were akin to Jesus. Like he was there ripping on the Beatles because they were getting more attention than Elvis in his twilight years.
Did they get a badge? He got a badge too, right?
He did.
Did he?
Well, that's what he wanted. He wanted an FBI badge.
Yeah.
But all of these municipalities all over the country had given these badges to Elvis Presley and like the keys to the city, and so he wanted that for the FBI. And so what he did, and they also gave Nixon a gun, which had to go through the Social Security. It had to go through Social Security, Secret Service, in order to give the president a gun. Apparently, it was not the first time someone wanted to gift a gun to Nixon, but he wanted. So he also showed him all of his badges and said, you know, I want one. And so like it was like preschool, like they made up a badge just for Elvis, and then he dropped dead 2 years later.
Well, Elvis was crazy. He used to put a siren on his car and just pull people over in Memphis.
No way.
Yeah, and then he'd get out and it's like they think it's a cop. He's like, "Oh, how you doing?"
Oh, really? He really did like that?
He did like
I got pulled over by Elvis. How great of a story is it?
I got pulled
It's
over
only
by
a
a
story.
Mountie.
There's
It
no-
was probably
yeah.
a lot less jarring to have Elvis pull you over than a Mountie.
Imagine
Like
that
was.
No, seriously.
I did not understand
I'm
what was
not
going
even kidding.
on.
You're there, and some of you.
He was
Elvis
funny.
is
He had a
dead,
sense
right.
of humor.
So someone today who's a big star. I mean, I don't know,
Yeah.
George Clooney or someone will pull you over and be like, "Oh my God, that was so cool! Thanks for doing that."
Yeah.
And then he writes you a ticket. Anyway, like, sorry, you're getting a ticket, buddy.
Well, Steven Seagal could write you a ticket. Like
He's still
Yeah.
him
There's
and
a few
Sebastian
guys.
Gorka are the same
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
So so the why for you was just spectacle. Do you think there was anything deeper there? Do you think he was trying to reach out to the African American community by meeting with Kanye West?
Sorry. That was a weird question.
I mean, with Kanye, on Kanye's side of it, it's genius because we're always talking about Kanye. We never stop talking about Kanye. Since the Bush thing, we've been talking about him ever since. Whether it's this or if it's Taylor Swift, it's the most genius thing I've ever seen in my life, to be able to just always be in conversation.
And the only other person that describes is Donald Trump.
That's right.
Yeah, and that's why they blend.
Yeah. No, I agree with that because they're
Matt,
two sides of the same coin.
We're going to play, this is from Jimmy Kimmel last night. In the middle is a Kanye clip, because I don't want to play too much Kanye, but it was interesting I love when they play these clips for the audience, if it's Trump or something, and you hear the audience organically laugh at the comments Trump makes. And it happens here. There's no punchline. They're just like, you're kidding me. And let's hear clip number 2.
Kid Rock was at the White House today, too. And there's a hurricane going on. Donald Trump is such a monumental narcissist that any famous person who puts on a red hat gets a visit and plenty of time for one-on-one.
The dopest cars, the most amazing. I don't really say dope. I don't say negative words and try to flip them. We just say positive, lovely, divine, universal words. So the flyest, freshest, most amazing car. And what we want to start with is, I brought a gift with me right here. This right here is the iPlane 1. It's a hydrogen-powered airplane, and this is what our president should be flying in. Look at this, Jared. If he don't look good, we don't look good. This is our president. He has to be the freshest, the flyest.
Is that Kimmel true?
I don't even know if that plane exists, but it runs on hydrogen. I think Kanye just pitched him the Hindenburg.
But they laughed at first of all, he said, if you don't look good, we don't look good, which was Vito Sassoon's slogan from years ago. But
don't hate me because I'm beautiful.
That was the same one, the Calvin Klein?
That was Pantene. I feel profoundly sad after looking at that footage. It made me profoundly just bummed, because here's a person who clearly is not well,
right,
and has been enabled by all these people around him, telling him that this is great and this is awesome. But he does not seem like he is in his right mind, and I'm being very, very diplomatic.
I don't know. I think he is in his right mind.
Really?
I think it's all a play, and I think same with Trump. I think it's just this play to play on the people that finally the villain gets to bring out all the other villains, and they have a spokesperson, and it's like I said, it's marketing. He's going to drop something. Kanye will drop something that's like some America bald eagle thing, the real black people of America, some sort of crazy thing. You wait just 2 weeks, something will come out.
And it will also make me nauseated.
But I mean, after the meeting with Donald Trump, then Kanye goes to the Apple store in Georgetown, jumps up on the table, gives a 10-minute monologue, and finishes with, "I'm going to Africa." And
a la Dave Chappelle.
Well, yeah. Dave didn't say. Dave just
I bet
went.
He got an applause break when he did that. I guarantee you.
Right.
But I mean, it seems to me, I'm not a mental health expert, so I could be wrong, and you could be right, Dustin. It could be clearly just designed to get press. Yeah. But it seems like there's something wrong. I mean, I'm not kidding. And I'm not an expert, so it just seems like the guy, it's almost a cry for help. It's like mental health day at the White House instead. And if someone could help him, it would be would be the upside to all of this, that he gets the help that he needs.
But that's what I don't like in this country. It's always an excuse. We're all crazy. I go to therapy once a week. I work on myself.
Right.
I stopped
then you
drinking.
Should go twice a week
I stopped
if you're
drinking.
crazy.
I stopped drinking. No, come on, don't be like that. I mean, I stopped drinking. I know when I get to a certain point, so I control myself. I get there, and I feel like you don't just get a pass because you look like something's wrong with you.
If you just give up bacon, you can join the Muslim club and then be in the Muslim comedy festival. If you've already given up drinking, which is the hardest part. So yeah, it's not. It's as opposed to after mass shootings, people invoke mental health right away to almost excuse it. To me, it just seems like it's not like he's insane.
No,
maybe bipolar or something along those lines.
Well, we need to talk about our terms, what is insane and what's not. And
I mean, clinically really insane. I'm talking about he's not clinically insane.
But there are a lot of things that mimic, what we would call insane, and bipolar disorder would be one of them. I mean, but when you are around, when there's no one telling you the truth, like no one telling you and kind of tethering you to reality,
that's what happens.
This is what happens when you are married to a Kardashian and you live in this kind of bubble with cameras around you, and it augments everything that you think, because that's what happens. It's like one thing comes into his mind, they're like, "That's brilliant, man," and then they do it, which gives you like a kind of a false sense of yourself. And I'm just going by like what my emotional reaction is was this person. I've worked with mentally ill people, and they are not Kanye. You know what I mean? Like it drives me crazy every time we have like a mass shooter and like suddenly we talk about how he's mentally ill. It's like that is like mentally ill people are more likely to be victims than they are to be perpetrators, and that needs to be said over and over and over again. What Kanye is displaying is, like I said, gross spectacle. But I think that there's something behind it, and it has to do with this ecosystem that he lives in.
And it's also just like with Trump. It's like too much money, too much power. You can literally say whatever you want, and that's what he's doing. And it breaks my heart because he was a good artist.
Yes, he was.
He was great. That early
Trump,
stuff. 2/3. No, yeah.
Yes.
Trump's first album was great.
Well, his work in Home Alone 2 was fantastic. But
to me, though, it was about, I honestly thought it was him showing, look, I have a black friend to his white bigoted audience, the racist in his base, who would say, he's not a racist, he invited Kanye over. Because if you wanted to reach out to African-American community, you would invite African-American community leaders who have some credibility and standing. I don't know if they would go at this point, but that's what you would do. So it was really, I thought, either to get press or it was to show his white base, so they can go and tell me, because they call here and go, Trump can't be a racist. And I go, why? They go, he brought down black unemployment. That's what they love. And because Trump says it. That
whatever
was
he says.
Or that was the equivalent of, I have a black friend, I can't be a racist. Black unemployment was down. Absolutely. That's what they were doing. Yeah. Now they've got Kanye to go like, he's brought down black unemployment. He's friends with Kanye West. That's what I'm going to hear from his base.
But do you really think that racists are like, Kanye, that's a good guy?
No, I don't. Because look at Fox News. Behind you is
They're
clip after clip.
This
that how that's Tucker Klansman.
I mean,
and he's up there doing. That's what I call him every night, Tucker Klansman. And he's going now. He's found a black guy that he likes, and they can defend too. Yeah. And I'm not kidding. This is part of it.
But I think they are doing that. I mean, it's just like I come from where they manufacture most of the racism in America.
It's from where you're from.
In Texas, and there is a thing like
the factory across the street from where you grew up,
and he's just like, oh, he's a good one,
right?
Because,
which is like the most racist thing you can say.
Yeah.
And the most sexist, by the way. Never call me one of the fucking good ones.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I wasn't saying about that.
I would not.
Good.
I would never do that.
I'm glad we figured this out.
Right. I would not. I would often from people on the right say you're one of the good Muslims. Like that kind of stuff. And I go, actually, I'm not really a good Muslim. Like, but I'm like an just
I don't
like
go
a
to temple,
Muslim
like,
or mosque.
Mosque. Sorry,
they won't let me in temple because I'm Muslim. But the idea about the exception to their rules all the time. That's how it works. So,
but it's toxic tokenism, right? So like Omarosa got to go in there and she got to be, outreach to African Americans, which is apparently her job title in the White House. But what you get to do as a token is everyone gives you money and work and attention and adulation for being a traitor to your kind. And then you get to be in the room where it happens. But as soon as you need something, then you're out.
Right.
Same with being a woman. Like as soon as you don't want to be raped, suddenly Republicans are like, we don't have time for you. But we like you if you want to rip on liberal women.
Sure,
but
sure.
if you don't want to be raped, sorry, this is not the party for you.
Yeah, and Omarosa, she was going along with it and then realized I think she caught herself.
Right.
And then realized she could make more money going the other way against him.
So whatever happened to that? Weren't we supposed to have the daily reveal of all of these tapes? Didn't she brag about how many tapes she had? And we've only heard 3 of them, and they were all like,
yeah. Kanye's going to put a beat behind someone,
right? There you go.
And they're coming out next.
Does it matter? You think like T.I., the rapper, who's a friend of Kanye, he put out a statement today, and part of it read, and it was an unbelievable, unmitigated slam of Kanye. He said, "From what I can gather, this is the most repulsive, disgraceful, embarrassing act of desperation and auctioning off of one's soul to gain power that I've ever seen." And then he said, "You ass kissing and boot licking on a whole new level. I refuse to associate myself with someone so vile, weak and inconsiderate to the effect that it has on the greater good of all of our people." for T.I., who's a friend of Kanye, to go public like this is a real slam. I mean, this is remarkable slam.
It's exactly what I would say if I was T.I.
T.I., you would. Or T.I.
I'm T.I.N.A.
All right, so are you surprised by it all?
Yeah, no, I mean,
why go public? I was amazed that he went public. I'm like, it's something I could see him privately, but T.I.'s like, I want nothing to do with you, and I want everybody to know. Public.
Because you have to do that. I mean, John Legend tried to be kind of, nice about it, and, it didn't affect him at all. He's maybe hoping that this might make a dent, but it won't.
No, he'll just
you
go
can't
to
get
another Apple
past
store and yell at people.
Exactly.
Or something like that. All right, let's take a quick break. We're going to come back. There's more topics to cover here. Donald Trump not getting the press on Fox News, not getting covered. In fact, there's rallies tonight, and they're not covering it. And what will he do? Because I think the Kanye thing was part of that, trying to get media coverage. He's very upset he's not getting media coverage. And what that means for the Republicans in the midterms, actually, according to Republican real serious pundits, is bad that they're not covering the rallies now. Yeah. Because it would show the local candidates on as well. So let's take a break. Come back more with our friend Tina Dupuy and Dustin Chafin right here on the Dean Obeidallah Show.
Dean Obeidallah Show on Sirius XM Progress 127.
You're listening to What Just Happened with everyone's favorite host, Dean Obeidallah.
And welcome back, Dean Obeidallah Show, live Friday, October 12th. I'm sitting here with our friend Tina Dupuy, writer, comedian Dustin Chafin. We're talking about Trump now so desperate for press coverage because Fox News, and I went through it earlier in the show, the ratings for his rallies for Trump last year, around 4 million viewers, a rating for a rally on Fox News, which was great numbers. He's dropped to 2.5 million, which is lower than they usually get for like Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity. So now they stopped preempting the rallies, and the Trump administration is concerned, and even Republicans are concerned because they said when they would do the whole rally live, they would get to meet like local candidates who are running for Congress or for re-election, and would be big like windfall of contributions to their campaigns. Yeah. That's all drying up.
Do you think it's going to be like kind of like a anticipation promo thing, like Game of Thrones? You know what I mean? Like they wait to just, you know, they're not going to release anything till 2/19 later, right. And then, so they're not going to air anything, and then all of a sudden here it is, the Trump rally, and then everybody goes nuts and they get all of the views. You know
it's possible. I mean, anything's possible. What do you think?
The problem is that he's had 500 of these things.
That's right. He's done too many.
500 of them since 2015, and he hasn't. Gotten any new material.
He's a new opener.
You know, right? Exactly. He does. He's been doing the same old jokes that we've all heard a million times. It's lock her up and whatever. But he's been doing the exact same act for, you know, coming up on 4 years now, 500 times. Of course, it's a snooze job. He's going to have to reinvent himself in order to, like, you know, I mean, because we're all getting Trump fatigue.
What do you think? Prop comic? What's he do next? Like a Carrot Top type of thing?
Resign.
He has
How about resigning?
Well, he definitely has a new dummy. You know, he could just put Kanye on his lap.
They go on a tour together. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. That's what you do to get press.
And then you're the puppet. No, you're the puppet.
You're the puppet. The famous thing.
It's going to be
Why not bring Kanye to a rally? That would definitely mean that Fox News would cover that, and even MS and CNN.
Why
frankly,
are you giving
would cover
him
that.
Ideas on how to make more gross
I can assure you. But I mean, what's the limit? I'm like Putin with a shirtless on a horse, sex tape. I mean, where does it end with Trump? Like the guy he lives and breathes to be on television. He needs that. He needs good ratings. He brags about his ratings. I was reading tweets earlier when he mocked Schwarzenegger for ratings sucking Apprentice when he took over.
Yeah.
So he needs this. And
Schwarzenegger had a YouTube page no one watched. It's Schwarzenegger, and I went to places in South America when Schwarzenegger was the governor of California, and people who had never worn closed-toed shoes knew who Arnold Schwarzenegger was.
Oh, sure.
And when he was governor of California, there was a YouTube page that he did official work on, and you'd see 200 views.
Mm-hmm.
Well, be like
Governor, 200 views. He couldn't get people to watch him,
crazy.
And after a bit,
after the maid thing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. After the maid thing,
I mean, everything was the maid thing.
Yeah,
for the record. But, it was actually pre-maid thing.
He impregnated his maid. I remember doing a joke like he's the impregnator.
Yes.
She looked like Jay London. It was crazy.
Who's a comic.
Right. No, I know who Jay London is. And you know, you're not wrong. And but his kid looks like, you know, a doppelganger. Like it looks like someone
good-looking
cloned.
kid.
Yeah.
The Schwarzenegger's kid.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him. All right, let's move on to what's going on over your shoulders right now, which is actually on my list here, is the left's mob tactics border on violence. They're not quite violence, but they border on violence.
Oh, they border on it.
And so they're saying on the right that we want violence. I want to play a clip today. This is Scott Wagner, the Republican nominee for governor, not like dog catcher, for governor of Pennsylvania, and talking about what he wants to do to the Democratic opponent he's running against. And this is today. This is not like 5 years ago. Literally, this is literally today. And also, listen to the threat he makes and how Republican it is, really. So here's clip number 3.
Well, Governor Wolf, let me tell you, between now and November 6th, you better put a catcher's mask on your face, because I'm going to stomp all over your face with golf spikes, because I'm going to win this for the state of Pennsylvania, and we're throwing you out of office.
With golf spikes. I mean, that's very Republican. At least he did it.
Is he fighting McGregor? Is that what's happening?
First of all, that's just off the chart. This is now. I mean, same.
But this is what Kavanaugh did. He went out there and he went angry white man, and everyone went, yeah, he's like cool. And then he became he got a dress, and now he's a Supreme Court justice. Everyone wants to do a Trump impersonation because Trump won. And so now we are stuck in perpetuity with all these moronic white men who think that they're Trump and they're not.
Right.
Kavanaugh, not Trump. Kavanaugh going to be in trouble. So is Trump, we hope. But it's on trend to just be a cantankerous, horrible white dude who feels like they're oppressed.
But this is literally saying, I'm going to stomp on your face with golf shoes. I mean, to the governor of the state, and he's the Republican nominee.
Stomp on your face.
I'm sorry?
I could search the web for it.
Oh, oh my God, one of our series
That's not me.
is talking. Siri's
She's heckling you.
Siri's listening, everything.
She is.
Oh my God.
That was Trump. Trump just did that.
That's my Apple phone. So, all right, let's talk about, what else can we talk about here?
What the hell is going on?
Exactly, that's all. You know what? We're going to play, Matt, why don't we play our game now? Matt's got it. We haven't announced. Here it comes. Ready, Matt? You play.
Now, it's time for America's newest game show sensation.
Guess who said it?
So this is the game within a game. This is a game within a segment within a show, because this, what just happened is an hour segment within my show. But within that, we have another game.
Ow.
It's a very Inception, dream within a dream scenario going on here.
Okay.
So I'm going to read you actual quotes.
Can I use your Siri for this?
Siri, you should zip it. And I will give you 4 choices. And if Siri talks during this, I'm going to have to shut Siri down. I'm sorry, Siri. All right, so these are real quotes. And there's really no prizes, but I just feel better when you get them wrong. So that's why I just throw that out there.
That was subtle.
It is. Okay, here we go.
He looked at me when he said that too.
Especially Tina, because Tina gets them 2 right.
Here we go. I'm going to do better.
You're intense,
Here we go.
like
Ready? When they go, here we go. Stop it. Focus up on this game that I must win.
Well,
I have all the answers. I'm going to win here. Ready?
All right.
When they go low, we kick them. A, was it Michael Avenatti? B, Eric Holder? C, Meryl Streep? D, Hillary Clinton?
Meryl Streep.
When they go low, we kick them. It's all from this week. So you're going to go with
This
Streep?
week.
What do you go with?
I thought it was Eric Holder who said that.
Oh, it is.
That wasn't one of the.
I said Eric Holder.
You did say Eric Holder? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
You got it right.
I was like, I tried not to be right. I tried to actually correct you and say that.
No. That's fine. I want you to get them right. I'm kidding.
No,
when
you
I
said that you didn't. I get them 2 right.
No,
And
no,
you
you're
looked at
very
me
good.
in the
You're
eye
very-
and
no,
said,
no.
"Do not get this one right."
I'd never do that, Tina. All right, here we go. No more snacks for Tina. Here we go.
I'm nervous.
People like Devin Nunes, he should get, well, if this all turns out like everyone thinks it will, Devin Nunes should get the Medal of Honor. So who thinks Devin Nunes, the Republican congressman who is horrific, should get the Medal of Honor? Donald Trump Jr., Kanye West, Lou Dobbs, or Trump Sr.?
It's your turn.
It's Trump Sr.
I guess. Sure, I'm going to go with whatever she says.
You got it right. You got it right. I'm just going to make up a quote. And then
If you
You're
do
not
comic
the
quotes, I can
first
figure
man
it
to
out.
tell me to fake it.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, here we go. I could say I'm the most bullied person in the world. Was it A, Michael Moore, B, Sean Hannity, C, Melania Trump, or D, Donald Trump Jr.?
You know this.
Don't know. You have to answer first.
Okay, Hannity? I don't know.
Melania.
Melania.
Could you
Yeah.
imagine? So, but this is so funny. So she has this stupid Be Best campaign, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Against bullying, and we all thought that was hilarious and like completely like tone deaf and not aware of no self-irony is what you would call that. But apparently she feels that she is the most bullied. So it's actually telling people to like be nicer to her. Talk about narcissism.
So Be Best is really just about
It's
her.
about
ultimately.
her. Yeah. It's like, you know,
she's
don't
bullied
talk
by
about
her husband. Don't put it on us.
They don't
There
even
you go.
talk. I mean, I don't know what's
They don't
going
live
on,
in the
and I
same
don't even
room.
care
They
that
don't sleep in the
I don't
same
care
bedroom.
what kind of relationship they have. It was weird for that reporter from ABC asked her about like how is your marriage or something like that. I don't really care how their marriage is. It's not relevant to this government. Let it be good or bad. Who gives a crap? I'm sure some people would disagree, but
right. But I mean, it's one of
nothing-
those things where like you can't. There's nothing normal to talk to Melania about because she's married to like a Nazi rapist. So it's like
He
there's
rapes
not
Nazis.
right. So like you can't talk about normal things with her because she does not do anything besides wear clothes, but she wants us to criticize her for something other than wearing clothes.
Yeah.
It's a very tough interview to give.
I think the relationship is important. I think that's why I liked Obama so much. But I feel like if you'll lie to your wife, you'll lie to the country. You know, I've always felt that's
Really?
the
You
case.
think so?
Absolutely.
Knocking it out of the park there, man. Exactly.
Yeah.
You got it. You're totally right.
If you'll lie to your wife,
but if
you'll
you
lie to the
cheat on your
country?
taxes, you cheat on your wife.
Exactly.
You got it. He's totally right. And that's absolutely true.
you have proof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not doubting you. I'm just wondering.
Well, you know, testimony is proof, and
Okay.
we
Absolutely.
have that.
Clinton
so.
got caught lying. I mean, you know.
All right, so here goes another one. This one, we stood up to the mob, and we also stood up for the presumption of innocence in this country. So who said we stood up for the mob? Was it A, Melania Trump, B, Rand Paul, C, Lindsey Graham, D, Mitch McConnell?
Good. I'm not
No,
gonna-
you have to answer.
No, you go. You don't have to.
Is it Mitch?
Mitch McConnell!
See?
You're too good.
It's like
right, I
Jeopardy.
tried,
it's like
like-
Jeopardy. Yeah.
Bonus question. Matt doesn't even know
Thank
this
God,
one. I
this
add
is
this
almost
myself.
I
Here
know.
it comes.
Yeah, right.
Here we go.
You know, we also have to consider the fact that the president seems to have no problem maintaining a good relationship with people who are murdering others around the world. Was it A, Hillary Clinton, B, me, C, Adam Schiff, the congressman, or D, Mitt Romney? So who said that we have to consider the fact that the president seems to have no problem maintaining a good relationship with people who are murdering people around the world? Hillary Clinton, me, Congressman Adam Schiff, D. Mitt Romney.
I'm gonna go you.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna go you.
I've said it, so you're absolutely right. But I didn't. But
I got one. Look at that. I follow your Twitter.
No, okay, that's your
Mitt Romney said that.
No.
Who said that?
Wrong.
I got it wrong.
Finally.
Yay.
Finally.
I get the T-shirt.
I tried
get
really
the
hard.
T-shirt.
Adam Schiff
I got the
actually
bonus.
said it.
Oh, Adam
He just
said
said it
that
a short time ago.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
But it was
because I was like, wow, Mitt Romney actually said something incredible. No, it's Adam Schiff.
We could do these quotes like, who do you wish said this, some of the stuff? Because
I
that's
like
part
that.
of it. Like, who do you wish would have said that kind of stuff, like he's bad? And that would be a different game, but it would be a true game because we hope that somehow these people come to their senses. You know, after Kavanaugh, the Republicans have all now joined back together. The Never Trumpers are gone. They're all, we like Trump now. I never trusted the Never Trumpers. I'm not sure if you follow them much. You know who they are, the Republicans who didn't support Trump. I didn't dislike them. I liked some of them, but I never trust them. I never thought they were long-term allies.
Are you talking about like Billy Crystal? I mean, who are you talking about?
Because more the people like
the Republican Party is a third party now in California. So this is a party that is so much smaller. When we talk about how
Bill Crystal, I didn't like not Billy Crystal, a comedian. Bill Crystal, I never liked Bill Crystal anyway. There are people that are like, I don't know where Evan Siegfried is our friend on this whole idea of Brett Kavanaugh or David Fromm, some of the other ones, or Rick Wilson. These are all these pundits some have left the party. Yeah. I mean, Steve Schmidt was a big Republican. It's like, I've left the party. I'm gone. Right. Max Boots, like, I'm leaving the party. That's different. But some of these other ones are like now, like Matt Lewis, who writes for The Beast too. And I've had some issues. He's been really good on not liking Trump, but now he's like, well, now, we see a different side to Trump. I'm like, so all the racism and bigotry and sexism, that's all erased now because you got
today
Kavanaugh.
In the New York Times talking about the promises that were kept by Trump. And it's like, it wasn't a parody, like it was actual, like they were taking, this was a serious op-ed trying to convince me that Trump has said something and then followed through with that. And I was
racism, check.
Yeah,
bigotry, demonize Muslims, check.
I was like,
demonize Latinos, check.
Tax cuts,
ban transgender Americans from the military,
7,000 orphans, 7,000 separations at the border.
What do you think, in your view, is because you touch on it a little bit, the most vile moment in the Trump presidency? Like, was there one thing that really, to you, said, I really can't believe this is happening? It's almost a surreal experience. Was there anything that, and it could be top of your mind, you could just, whatever you feel, it doesn't have to be, go through everything he's done. Was there anything that you're like, I honestly cannot believe this is happening?
I mean, just the debates in general, just like were very frustrating, and just the way he treated Hillary, and then like just watching it all happen, and the fact that you can just get elected because you have good nicknames for people, and just watching people actually rally around it. My father trolls me, he online, about my, because I like Beto or any sort of Democratic thing. Right. Like he comes at me, and it's like, and my biggest thing is Christians backing him because my father's, big Christian guy, and I'm like, he's not a Christian. He's the furthest thing away from what Christ wanted people to be. I don't know how he was able. They didn't want Romney because he was a Mormon, and it's like that was way more Christian than this freaking guy.
See, but I feel like there is a direct through line from the televangelists in the 80s to Donald Trump, like
swagger,
it is right. But it's the prosperity gospel that if God gives you riches, that's because God loves you, and God hates you, that's why you're poor. But that was the televangelist where they'd say God wants me to have another Cadillac, and little old ladies would like sign over their SSI checks to these men, and then they were in the late 80s, it was all scandal all the time. There was like kind of this rhythm that we're now seeing with politicians, but it was happening with televangelists, and everyone went to jail or whatever. Right. But I think that idea, that very American idea of the prosperity gospel, that like we admire, these are gods that we want to sacrifice all of our animals for and give them all our gold so that they will keep us in our favor. I mean, what we're doing with Trump is something like very seriously antiquated. We're doing, like cult worshiping via ancient Roman. Via ancient Rome. It's really astounding the way people see this man as their, as their deity.
Yeah, and people also tap into the prodigal son thing, where it's like they think he's done all these bad things, but he's still got good left in him, and you can forgive and all that stuff. And so I think they see that too.
They can forgive anything but being a Muslim. I mean, that's what they can't forgive.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. Or a woman.
Or gay.
But I'm a mouthy blonde.
Right.
Trust me.
Which is
there's a lot of things worse than being Muslim when to Christians.
By the way, on Monday we have on. There are evangelicals who they're very religious. They're evangelical leaders in their own community are on a bus. They're against Trump. It's evangelicals like on a bus again, and they're touring the country trying to reach out to evangelical going, this guy's horrible. And one of the leaders is going to be on Monday by phone in a bus, I assume, driving around the country.
I want to listen to that.
Is he excited about what he's been doing? I mean, I don't like when people say they're evangelicals. Like, what is their foreign policy? Like, what is their policy on Israel, for example? Like, that's where this kind of.
I'm not bringing that up to the guy. Fine. I'm just trying to get him. I'm just happy.
But Trump looks.
So you're diplomatic, and I'm like, let's get to Israel.
No, I want to hear. He is doing the right thing. I cannot reach an evangelical, a real white conservative evangelical. I'm talking about. I can't reach them. At best, I'm one of the good Muslims. I mean, honestly, at best, that's the best case I can get from them.
Yeah.
Or they'll try to convert me to their Christianity.
At least they let you talk. Do you understand what they do to women?
Woman, it says in Timothy, in the New Testament, a woman should learn in silence, and that's what it says.
But watching Trump in church is so hilariously uncomfortable.
He looks around?
He looks around. It looks like a pimp in church. It's just horrible.
By the way, from your experience with evangelicals, that's you grew up in Texas.
Yeah.
And that's where they are.
I was speaking tongues when I was 9.
You really did?
Yeah. They were like laying their hands on you.
Yeah,
all that stuff, sure.
What is that?
I was in a crazy cult, though. He was just in Texas.
It's like
she was in a cult.
It's like, really?
No, seriously.
I was born in one.
I was in a cult, too, by choice, Mormonism, but whatever.
You were a Mormon, too?
She was, hot girl.
I know
the Chile
thing.
Oh.
That's the Chile missionary thing.
Very interesting.
Yeah. But I mean, I grew up with that. My parents were sporadic. Like, they would be religious, and then they would just go off and sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and then they would feel bad and then come back. But they toured all over, did like the circuit, I guess. They would be on like little TV shows and stuff.
When you said sporadic, I thought that was another sect of Christianity.
It kind of is.
Sporadics.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Who are those people?
Were they Christian musicians?
Kind of. My mother was, yeah. But it's, I just feel like we grew up with all that. So I remember burning Kiss albums in the church parking lot.
Uh-huh.
Because they were devil.
Knights in Satan's service. That's what it stood for. These 4 guys from Queens were Knights in Satan's service. And we're like burning,
That's the way of not calling them actual Jews or something like that.
That's
why.
Exactly.
They're like,
that's exactly what it is. They want to say it without saying Jews.
No, but they would look up the scripture and Revelation, which says, there'll be men with long hair of women and makeup and stuff. They say all these little things they try to interpret into what's happening in the times.
So when you were growing up, getting to Tina's point about the Middle East, did you hear much about the Middle East? And I mean, the idea, I don't mean today's political conflict, the more the idea of Jesus will return.
I knew Iran was bad. That's all I knew. Wow. That's all I knew in Texas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't, I'm a kid growing up, whatever.
Sure.
We just knew Iranians were bad. That's all we knew. That was the thing.
That's enough.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. What more do
they
you need?
took our gas. That's what they told us.
So
wow.
So what would you ask if I had to ask him about the Middle East? What's your interest? Like, what would you? I have an idea where you're going because I've had these conversations. But what do you mean?
Moving the embassy to Jerusalem, is
sure
that
they
something
don't care about that.
Right? Well, if they do care about like that, because that is what evangelicals are like. He, promises kept. He did this, and
Jesus
that would
is
be,
one step closer. I mean,
right? Well,
this is all about Jesus returning.
Yes, and the cult that my parents were in, I'm not sure where my radical cult knowledge and mainstream evangelical thought kind of where those borders are. But I mean, I find it interesting, like liberal and conservative evangelicals, where they're able and if they're able to kind of build that bridge. That is interesting to me. Because where does that stop and where does that begin? And I think that it's probably like every other kind of partisanship, where if you take a step back and look at it from 10,000 feet, we don't actually disagree on all that much. They're and I bring this up a lot just for.
I know what you're getting at.
So say when people talk to pollsters about if they're pro-life or pro-choice. very interesting. It's about 40% say that they're both pro-life and pro-choice, and that right, exactly. Either they're both or neither is 40% of the country, which is like almost in a majority. So you have the extremes on either end, pro-life and pro-choice, and then there's this swath in the middle who feel like they don't like abortion, but they want it to be available for people. They personally don't like it or whatever, and they make these different distinctions where if we step back, it's like there's a lot of people agreeing on a lot of things.
Do you think pro-choice extreme? When you were saying the extremes, or were you saying in that poll?
I'm saying like
in that poll, right?
But I would say that I'm on the extreme of that poll. I would never call myself pro-life.
Right. No. Right.
So that would be.
So I assume you were pro-choice, and you said on the extremes you have the pro-life and pro-choice.
Well, but I mean, there's this middle of where they describe themselves as both or neither.
That's remarkable.
I would just describe. I mean, I would describe that as extreme, but it's for pollsters, it's the middle.
But the thing, to me, that shows something about evangelicalism is that they might share the same faith, but black evangelicals disagree almost unbelievably with white conservative evangelicals on politics, even though they would agree on pro-life, I'm sure, and many other issues. But when it comes to so go ahead.
No, the problem with, that area of people is location, location, location. It's like what helped me open my eyes was coming to New York City, going to art school, and, getting involved in comedy, meeting different people I'd never been around. And I feel that's what we need to do to people. Just like ship them somewhere where they're forced, like
travel,
forced to be around people that
Americans
they've never been around.
Right. I know. I absolutely agree.
It helps.
Americans don't go to other countries. We travel within our own country, but we don't go and talk to other people.
It's like that scene in American History X. It's like he was forced to do laundry with the black dude, and then he started to change a heart because he was forced to be next to him. That's in New York City. Ride the 2 train once in a while, and you'll be fine. You won't hate anybody.
You will be immune to all diseases. Here's the thing about the New York subway system. I was going through customs, and someone was like, have you been to these places where there's an Ebola breakout? And I'm like, I've been on the New York City subway system.
I can take it.
I have everything. If you want an excuse to kick me out of your country, there it is. But you are absolutely right. Every single kind of shape, size, color, religion, whatever, and you are pressed up against them on a train that doesn't have air conditioning.
Comedy's good like that
You
too.
know what humanity is.
But what you're also getting at in a way, and I think it explains why, for example, with Dr. Ford, they asked white women, do you believe Dr. Christine Ford or you don't? Of white women with college degrees, 66% believed her over Kavanaugh. Of white women without a college degree, it was 33%. It was like literally double.
Yeah.
Because college...
They're watching different news as well.
Different news, but also I think that college, at the very least, exposes you to other people.
Sure.
Even if you go to a local college, you're probably going to have people from not just your community, your neighborhood.
Yeah.
And that's part of it. So if you can't leave this country, you can be exposed through other... That's why I think college or post-high school...
Or
just read. There's a thing called books.
Right.
That's nice.
Certainly.
But traveling, just go to a country where you don't know the language, and you realize how vulnerable you are, and how little you know about what you thought you knew, and then you know more about what is going on at home.
Yeah, skydiving made me feel like a speck on this planet.
Yeah,
Just
I bet.
You went skydiving?
Oh,
You've lived a life, Dustin.
Yeah,
This
man,
is
I'm
really
an adventurous
remarkable.
guy, man. I'm like the real Indiana Jones. You know what I mean?
You went into skydiving? I would never. That just scares the crap out of me.
Oh, it's great. I'm going to take you. It's
Yeah,
a
my
lot of
husband's
fun.
afraid of heights, so he always does stuff like that.
All right, we got to take a
and I'm
break
like,
before Matt, my producer, yells at me. Let's take a
busy.
quick break. Come right back with more of the Dean Obadala Show and our friend Tina Dupuy and Dustin Chafin right after this.
Dean Obadala Show on Sirius XM Progress 127.
Your entire week's exhausting news broken down in one hilarious hour. What Just Happened is now live with Dean Obeidallah.
Dean
Obeidallah
I get
Show.
asked a lot, and it's now that we have this president, people ask, is it easy now? It must be easy to write jokes. There's so much material. The jokes must write themselves. And it's not true. We still write the jokes ourselves. And in fact, in a way, it makes it harder to be funny when nonsense and stupidity is pouring on your head at all times. But so the jokes do not write themselves, or should I say, they did not write themselves until today, when Kanye West visited the White House. And, I kind of feel like every day I say, oh, it was a crazy day. Today was the craziest day. This was something special.
So there was Jimmy Kimmel. As comedians know, people keep saying, like, isn't it great the material you get? And I'm like, what is wrong with you? I mean, why would you think...
I would love for there to be nothing to talk about. That would be great now.
Yeah. I interviewed Seth Meyers, who said, I will trade every Trump joke, which actually helped his ratings.
Sure.
He said, I would actually trade all the Trump jokes to not talk about Trump as president if he was not president.
I would vote for the most boring, nebbish, completely forgettable person.
I mean, Obama was hard to write jokes about. You know, I felt he was difficult.
I liked him.
I liked him too.
That's
I
why.
thought he was smooth. Like he never said stupid things.
Right, there
so
wasn't
it
a lot of
harder.
absurdity to like kind of grasp on. And
Loved
like,
his wife and his
right,
kids. Like everything.
It was really the comedy with Obama was like the weirdness that happened around him with the Tea Party and all of these like people really losing their mind because there's a half black person in the Oval Office.
Well, the funniest thing was how hacky everybody was in the beginning. They were like, "You got a black president, spinners on the limo, and all this stuff." Then he comes in, he's like the whitest dude. Like it's not
with mom jeans,
right?
And
all the jokes.
Rappers are embarrassed of him.
It's like, what are you talking about?
He's like,
that's not what's happening.
He's playing baseball underhanded. And you're like, oh God.
No, there were comedians we used to see for years before Obama. What would the first black president be like? And they had
Chris
a lot
Rock
of great
did
jokes.
the movie, yeah.
Oh, yeah, and that's right in the movie. But even like I don't know if Greer Barnes or some other comics had funny jokes about it.
Sure.
And then you're right, you get him.
You're like, nah.
And so
he's like you, yeah.
Well, I joke about like one day there'll be a Muslim president, first Muslim, and it wasn't Trump, Obama, obviously, but the idea of
yes, it was.
What will he be like? No, he wasn't. He was born into the faith of Islam, which is accurate because his dad was Muslim.
But like that, right?
But then
now
he
we can
became
talk
Christian.
about this, right?
No, but he became Christian and raised
was.
Christian. And it was interesting. My idea of a Muslim president would be, I'm hoping it's like really like an open shirt, gold chain type of lamb smelling type of guy. I want it to be like a real.
He just
like
did
one
the
of my
UFC
cousins.
fight, right? The guy that just.
Oh, I heard about that. That's right.
Was it?
So there was a fight with McGregor, and he fought against a Muslim. Did he,
yeah,
I heard about
the
this
name.
guy.
It's so ridiculous. I
don't know
his
name. I don't know this stuff.
I bring it up. I don't know it either. I was hoping you knew it. You're Muslim.
Wow,
you should. I knew McGregor. But like, you should know the Muslim guy.
There's two white dudes talking about
Khabib,
sports,
his name
not
is
knowing what
Khabib.
they're talking about.
It's a difficult name.
Great.
It's a very difficult name.
Khabib. His name is Khabib.
Khabib. There you go.
Khabib.
Boom. We got it. McGregor and Khabib. And he flipped out. And like after he won, beat the guy senseless, and then jumped over the cage and started punching people in the audience. It was
McGregor.
fantastic. Yeah. No.
Khabib.
Yeah. He went crazy.
Well, we get a little angry. That's what we're known for. We're like,
but that's your guy with the gold chain.
All right. I gotta take one more quick break.
I think he would be better than Trump.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
Anybody
Khabib for
would.
president, 2020. All right. Be right back.
Woo!
Dean Obeidallah Show on Sirius XM Progress 127.
Your entire week's exhausted news broken down into one hilarious hour. What Just Happened is now live with Dean Obeidallah.
And welcome back, Dean Obeidallah Show. We've got about a minute left here with our friends Tina Dupuy and Dustin Chafin. Dustin, where can people follow you and find out more about you?
You can follow me on Twitter at Dustin Chafin. Please listen to my podcast. I'll leave you with this, and I'll be in Atlantic City Thanksgiving weekend at the Tropicana.
Wow. I'll be staying at Caesars that weekend. So, Tina, where are you going to be?
I'm playing in my living room.
Okay.
You can follow me on Twitter, Tina Dupuy. My last name, D-U-P as in Paul, U-Y as in Yankee.
Tina, and I'm going to run off to the Arab American Comedy Festival that I co-produced with Maysoon right now. I'll be there tonight. Tomorrow, 2 shows, ArabComedy.com. Come on out. I'll be on Twitter all weekend. I'm needy. Follow me at Dean Obeidallah or Dean at deanofradio.com. Send me a comment. Dean at deanofradio.com. Thanks for tuning in. Monday, we come back. Keep fighting. Keep fighting.
Vote for Beto.
Vote Beto.